sure about that?
All right, okay. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Thank you. It's your boys here at the Truth Media Podcast, and we are ready for another episode. Now, guys, we're on a roll. We had our first couple episodes after being on a hiatus release, so please do check those out when you do get a chance.
We
It'd be
back.
greatly appreciated. We had our first video out on. Oh God, we did so many that So we had our chart. We had a Charles Barkley episode released just today, I believe, earlier today, and then early this past week, we were able to release the. Wow, how am I already forgetting this video? Do you remember the video we did earlier this week? What the heck was that topic on? Jesus
Charles
Christmas!
Barkley.
Wow. I'm drawing a blank. No, we did Charles
Charles
Barkley, and then
Barkley.
we did God damn, wow. Anyway,
Can you hear me?
so please do check out. Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. So please do check out those videos because, guys, we're really looking to get back into a rhythm. So please let us know how we do, what we can potentially bring for y'all, and what topics you're excited to know more about. Right. So this week's topic, and I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we get into today's topic, I want to first introduce myself and my co-host for those of you that are new to the podcast. This is your boy Q Fusion Reacts and my co-host.
Double A Hef, y'all. What's good?
All right, guys. So also, guys, check out our other platforms. We also are on Spotify. We are on we are on Apple Podcasts. We are on a number of different platforms. There's some other ones that you
We
can check
everywhere.
out while you're driving
Just
for
Google
our
us.
straight audio. Yes, actually, if you do Google us, you will probably be able to find out all the different streaming platforms that we got picked up on. As you know, we're at 200 plus subscribers right now, so we are doing our thing, man. We are doing our thing. So yeah, we are still on the move. It's been a blessing, and it's only because of you guys that we've been able to get this far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we
Yeah,
still jumped up subscribers,
if
even
you
though
Google
we've been in there.
the Truth Media Podcast, the first three are Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube in
Jeez,
that order.
nice. You know what's crazy? I have actually never Googled this. That's actually pretty interesting. So thank you for doing that. I try not to get too ahead of myself, but that's cool. So we're on the Googler. All right, shit. So guys,
Google it.
so yeah, and also please, Aaron, check out the please keep a lookout on the Facebook chat to see if we have anybody roaming around throwing in comments because we definitely want to make sure those are getting acknowledged. So if you do me that favor while we continue the video. So with that being done, I think we got the housekeeping in order. We are doing an episode because, as you guys recently, the NBA season winds down. WNBA, I believe, is coming back in May. I think they start their season around Memorial Day weekend. Um, and so we wanted to take a look at a conversation that took place, I think a couple of months ago, with regards to the age-old discussion having to do with WNBA players, the pay gap that they are, always talking about, and sort of that conversation. So I don't think we've ever really. I think we may have when we were just doing straight audio, but I
Mhm.
don't think we've had this conversation in a long time, or at least seen it from the conversation piece that we're going to be talking on today. Right. So there was a conversation on Gils Arena where they had a reaction to one of the NBA players, Michael Porter Jr. from the Denver Nuggets, the this past year's NBA champions, and where they discussed the WNBA problem. All right. So what we're going to do is
Problem.
in, hear how that conversation went, and then we'll give our reactions along the way. And you guys also let us know if you think we are on par, off kilt, or if we are right on to the truth. Okay. Awesome. So let's get it started. Is there anything else that I'm missing before we get into the video?
No, sir. Let's do it.
All right, cool. Here we go.
To talk about some hate that the women's side is getting. Michael Porter Jr.
Let's make this
pulled up to the pivot recently, had this to say about the women's game.
And they're very talented, but so is a famous ping pong player. They're just as talented as like the best ping pong player is just as talented as the best basketball player. That doesn't mean they're going to get paid the same
because they play ping pong.
It's what the people want to watch. You know what I mean? So, as much as I understand females wanting the same treatment as men basketball players, it's a different sport. People, they're not packing out the arenas. Obviously, their TV deals aren't the same. So, as much as I advocate for women and kind of the equality of the respect of their craft and all those things, I mean, you can't pay them the same thing, but I do feel like there should be a little way to make a little bit more money for them because they are very talented.
Correct. Yeah, I think the big thing, obviously, when you're thinking about negotiations.
See. So let's just start at this piece of the conversation. I feel I don't want to say I feel like because that's passive aggressive. From this statement that he's making, guys, and bear with me, there seems to be a disconnect, right? Because it seems like he was right on. Like his analogy was actually pretty interesting. I haven't seen somebody use that one before. But then he goes into like, oh, I wish they can. He finishes off his statement by saying, I wish they could get paid the same. Why?
No,
Why
no,
is it that
he said a little bit more.
did
He didn't say the same. He said a little bit more. He said a little bit more.
Oh, okay. I thought he said
Yeah.
paid the same. Like I just don't understand. Like why? Well, I understand. It's because we're in this participation trophy era, where now even when you react to reality and you actually talk about the realities, you can't finish off your statement by just keeping it at reality. You have to then adjust to make comfort food for those that are sitting on the wild side of the spectrum. So that to me was just something that I just caught at towards the tail end of that his initial comment.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we could just keep playing the video because I when I get going, I'm just gonna go scorched earth on this shit. So
Labor unions.
Well, let's
and
keep it to his comments first, and
I
then
don't
we'll
believe
dive because there's
any
a whole
woman that believes she should be paid as a man gets paid. It's more about the revenue share. It's more about the percentage, and I think those things play into it. And then the other side of it is treatment. Within their own organizations, like they're never like they don't.
Well, it's not as exciting.
No, it's not as exciting.
It's not as exciting basketball.
Yeah, you're not.
They got to lower the rims. I would watch a girl.
Ah, there he is.
On another, I would watch that.
yeah, I would too.
They're actually.
There he is.
I would too. Thank you, sir.
I wouldn't.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Pause it.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me that if they lowered the rims to, let's just say, like 8 feet,
Yeah.
and you had these freaking these bulldogs running around catching bodies on and off the court? No, I'm joking.
Hey,
oh God, I'm sorry.
yo.
I'm sorry, but we got the bulldogs out there, right? And they're yamming it on each other. You wouldn't be more inclined to watch the WNBA under those circumstances?
No. I wouldn't.
So wait. Would you be less inclined, or would you remain the same as where you are right now?
Actually, that's a great question. I would be less inclined.
Oh, okay. Why?
Yeah, I'd be less inclined.
Why?
Because most of these girls, if you see them, they are let's say this, they're a bunch of Joe chicks, right? You may have like an outlier where one can rim graze and all this other stuff, but for the most part, most of these girls are not, let's say, coordinated when it comes to jumping off, right? Have you ever watched these girls on like a layup line?
Oh yeah.
Like before the games? Like it's not going to be pretty. If anything, it's going to be them trying way too hard, right, to catch these so-called bodies. And I'm just gonna. It's really gonna just be like a
The
bunch of
injuries
like,
are going to spike.
yeah, the
Torn
injuries. I'm not even
ACLs.
thinking about that.
It's
I'm just
gonna
thinking
go
about how
through.
most of the dunks are not going to get made. It's going to become a joke. Even if it is a joke now, it's going to become even more of a joke because it's going to be like, what are we doing out here? Like, what? Again, most of these girls are just not that coordinated. Like, they're
Look,
probably more
look.
coordinated than your average girl,
Hold
but
on, though. Hold
but
on.
nah, man.
Hold on. Hold on. All right, because you know what? I am fair. So, in all fairness, there's a bunch of high schoolers coming up now, and some college girls that actually could throw it down. And I'm not saying they're like they yamming it. No, they're
Mm-hmm.
still doing like the rim grazes for the most part. But imagine
Sure.
the rim is 2 feet shorter.
What
If you're rim
at 8?
grazing, if you're
So at
rim
8 instead
grazing,
of 9.
if you're rim grazing at 10,
Uh-huh.
at eight, you're doing something.
I mean, the kids play at 8.
And that's isn't that what we're talking about?
I mean, these are grown women. No, I didn't think they were like. I feel like 10-year-olds play on 8-foot rims. I thought they were saying bring it down to 9.
Okay, look, I don't get bring it down. Period. Bring it
Yeah,
down.
no. Yeah. So yeah, no. I mean, I can't. I mean, hey, maybe some people will like that. I don't know. I just myself, I just would
Hey,
not.
I'll speak
I
for
just would not be a
myself,
fan.
and I'll tell you if they lower the rims. Well, first of all, the ball's already smaller, so
Sure.
they play with a smaller ball, but they're going to play on the same size rim.
I don't
Why?
know how that
Why?
tracks.
Well, I mean, it tracks like this. Think about it, right? The ball's smaller. Why? Because men typically have larger hands than women, right?
On average, yeah.
All right then. So the NBA standard for the height,
Hmm.
rim height, is 10 feet, right? But also, on average, men are taller than women, right?
Yes.
So if men are taller than you and have bigger hands than you, but you'll acclimate one measure, but you won't do the other, then why not? Men are taller than you; they play on a 10 foot rim. Naturally, you're shorter than men. You're playing with a smaller ball. Naturally, you should play on a lower rim.
Okay. So one, if we're talking about biology, we also know that their leg muscles are nowhere near as explosive as the average man's. So those
Lower some
players,
more. Lower some more. Yep. Keep going.
no, I even think just by lowering, we know that they don't train their whole life, and even if they started this track now, they're not gonna be able to do it with the same flair, right, or with any sort of flair because they're not. Again, most of these girls are not. They're not jumping over a piece of paper, right? You get an outlier. You might get an outlier, right? Where like a Brianna Stewart or like maybe a
Brittany
Candace,
Griner.
or Jesus Christ. That's definitely not an outlier. But you get some, and I know the girls that you're talking about, but I can maybe count on my hand maybe how many girls can actually do it. So to think about all the girls that are their height still and can't even touch the bottom of the net. I mean, Lord, like that. If you bring down the thing, the way that they're going to be jumping is going to look really foolish to me. To me, but hey,
And to most, not just you, to most.
yeah, no, well, because I just because
Yeah,
maybe
but
the thing people keep talking about lowering the room, so I don't want to act like it's like something that's like newly
uh,
brought to the equation. Um,
I think the
so that's the thing.
conversation is getting diluted though, because is the conversation, are we trying to make the WNBA more like the NBA? Because if that's the conversation, which I think it probably should be, because the WNBA is basically they're trying to be the NBA just for women, then it needs, in my opinion, if that's what it's going to be, then it needs to be like across the board, relative to the NBA. So again, the ball smaller, great. The rim should be shorter, great. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to equal. Well, first of all, nothing's equal, so it's not going to be. It's not going to have the same flair. It's not going to have that. It's not. But for me, if I were to
Yeah,
be watching a game that was more relative for these women, I would like to think. Now I could be wrong. I would like to think I'd be more inclined to watch it. Like if someone said, "Oh my God, the new NBA," and it's starting tonight, and I had nothing to do,
hmm
my options were watch a old movie that I've probably seen 50,000 times, or watch the new WNBA. I might be like, I'll check out the WNBA, at least the first quarter, see how it's going.
yeah, no. No, I don't want no parts of that. I don't. That's gonna make a mockery of it. I just and at the end of the day, that's just. I think that you
It
can be
is a
the, and you
mockery
don't have to.
already.
No, I think that. I think let's say, because you know what it is. If we're gonna be going down that path, I think that you can, because it's not just. I think where we may differ is that I don't think that just because you're trying to be just like the NBA, it has to only come down to what's coming onto the court. Because let's be real, they're never gonna be able to get on par with anything that the NBA does court wise. But I do think there's a number of different things off the court that these players can be doing way more of and way less of, right? And I think they'll be having that conversation in this video. And it's an honest conversation because that I think that's where they struggle so much. That's why the NCAA is always leaps and far years behind. I mean, sorry, above the WNBA, right? Because they, like my co-host was talking about, the Bull Dykes thing is a real thing, right? It's not marketable. It's not marketable at all. So it's there's a reason why the Serena Williams is, the Venus Williams is, the all these girls are able to, they're able to showcase sheer physical might, but then at the same token, still you look at them and go, okay, that's a good looking sister right there, right? And say what you will about the person that she married, but she married a man. I'm sorry. She married a man. She married a man. She had a child. The child is wearing pink, tennis dresses or tennis, gear. I
Mhm.
mean, these things that's like, if I'm a Nike person, I'm like, whoo, yes, 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 baby gear, baby tennis gear, baby tennis gear. Like you can market that. So yeah, I think there's numbers of different ways that you can get to replicate the aspects of the NBA that are great business wise, and pull some of that into W. But the players need to be,
Well,
a
I
big
mean,
part of that.
so I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just going to play a little devil's advocate here, and then we can get back to that
Sure.
video because we're getting off on a tangent. But I'll say this to you: don't you think that's what the NBA and Nike are doing?
For who?
Basically, for the Bull Dykes, the WNBA, they're trying to say, oh, like during
Which
the
Bull
Super Bowl, they
Dykes are
were saying,
getting major coverage?
no, 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 none of them are yet. But
Mm-hmm.
allow me to land this plane. They're trying to push this agenda. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like pride, gay pride.
Sure.
They try by normalizing it. Then they can segue into, okay, now that this is normal and you accept this, yeah. Now we're gonna tell you who your role model should be. It should be this
Mm-hmm.
bulldog because she's the same as LeBron James. LeBron James is a role model. Why not this bulldog over here? So yeah, Nike and the NBA are trying to do that. It's not happening yet
But who? But that's what I'm saying. Who they haven't. It's not a good
because
business model.
they have the. But okay, can we agree on this? Nike and the NBA
Mm-hmm.
are pushing this LGBTQ agenda.
No, I don't agree.
You haven't seen
Who?
any
Which
of the
one? Which
NBA
Bull Dykes?
commercials?
Which
Whoa, I'm
which
talking
Bull
about
Dykes?
dude. I'm talking about Nike and the NBA. I'm not talking about
Yes,
them.
Nike and NBA.
I'm
Yes,
not.
I'm
I've
saying which
never.
which
Hold on,
Bull
hold on,
Dykes.
hold on, dude. I never said they've endorsed Bulldex. What I'm saying is they're trying to pave the way to do so by pushing the agenda. Why do you think they're
I don't
doing
think
it
they're
so hard?
paving the way to do so. I think that they understand
They
that you
right,
cannot be.
dude. They understand just like you
They're not
understand.
marketing. They're not marketing anybody that is a Bull Dyke. That's all I'm
Not
saying. Is
not
you can
yet.
when there's been a ton of great Bull Dyke
Oh my god,
WNBA players. So what you're
okay,
telling me they haven't found one that they can, like there's a
dude.
ton that
No,
they can market, but they
you're not
understand it's not a good
listening.
business model. I'm absolutely listening. I just
Exactly.
don't think you understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you can do both. You can not market an individual, but then
Dude,
still push an agenda. So
you
just
missed
so
my
you
whole
don't
point.
lose out on dollars.
That's what I said. That's what they're doing. They're paving the way for that to
I
ultimately
don't think they're
happen.
paving the way. I think they're just understanding that you can't be. They're a liberal league at the end of the day. You're gonna still have remnants of LGBTQ in there, but you're not gonna pin. You're not gonna pedestalize a fucking bull dyke. I don't.
Not right
I just
now.
don't
They're
think.
not.
Yeah, I
Not
don't.
right
I
now,
don't think that day is coming, dude. I don't
dude.
think that they had Diana Taurasi, who was
What
world
is wrong
renowned.
with? Hold on, man. It's like you live
They
under a
had.
rock, dude. Freaking Caitlyn Jenner was the female of the year.
That's not a WNBA player.
Yeah, it's not, but who thought that was gonna happen? You're saying like, oh, I think they know better than that. No, dude,
What do you mean?
they
Who
want
thought that was
they
gonna happen?
they
The
wanted
world
to
was
happen.
going in that weird way.
They
I'm talking
they
about the
they wanted to
WNBA. We're not
happen.
talking about other arenas. I'm talking about,
The
no pun intended.
WNBA, no, the WNBA, NBA, and Nike.
Is Caitlyn Jenner a Nike athlete?
No,
Is
she's
she
not.
a WNBA player?
That dude, I brought that
I
up
don't
as
know. I'd
reference.
rather you say
That's a
Diana
reference thing.
Taurasi, who is a bull dyke. I'd rather you say Brittany Jenner. I mean
Well,
Brittany Griner, who
no,
is a
no,
bull dyke.
Griner. No, the other one, the Bird, Sue Bird. They
Bull
were
dyke. That's
trying to
another
push
bull
her.
dyke. What?
They were trying
Yeah,
to push her as the
yeah. They
face of the
pulled it when
league.
she was heterosexual.
Brittany Griner was the face of the freaking league
Face of the
too.
league, and where is that?
They were trying to make her the face
What
of the
Nike
league.
commercials were you seeing with Brittany Griner, man? Like she couldn't even dunk on command on a Sports Center ad, bro. Come on, 6'8", bro. Like,
Dunk
come
on
on. They asked
command.
her, come on. He's like, hey, just throw a simple 2-hand dunk down for us. You did in the game recently. She took 3-4 attempts, man, on live TV,
Yeah, I
bro.
know that was crazy.
Come
That
on.
was crazy.
This is not.
Shit.
Is this? What do they used to say?
I know.
Is this your champion? Is this your champion? That's how when I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's it for them. Because she was supposed to be, and if you're gonna talk about, if we're talking about potential paving, anything, I thought that was gonna be like the Bull Dyke, paver, and she bumped that bird because it's like you're not attractive,
That's
you're
my point.
6'8",
They tried.
and that's one out of all the thousands of WNBA players that have come forward since 1990 plus. Like what do we?
Dude, we're saying the same thing. You're just not
No,
getting
I
my
get your
point.
point. What I'm saying is that it's a moot point because it's like what they're not paving. Oh no, actually, I don't say it's a moot point. All I'm saying is that we differ where it's like they're doing it, but I don't think they're paving anything because I don't think there is a sufficient business model to pave to that. I think you get to a point where you're like, okay, we support it. We hey, love your gay, but like as far as like bringing out these players and going, yes, let's show their budding relationships and all this other shit. Like let's show a day in the kitchen with Sue Bird and her wife or whatever they call each other when they do their thing.
But let me ask you a question then. If that's the case,
Yeah.
right? If what you're saying is correct, then why do they continue to put the mics in front of these women's
Mm-hmm.
faces, right? And ask them these questions, knowing where the conversation is going to go.
Which
Basically, what you're saying
about which
is
what?
Nike. Wait, hold on. What you're saying is that Nike and the NBA understand, like, okay, you know what? These Bull Dykes can't cross over. They have no crossover appeal because of the reasons that we just laid
Mm-hmm.
out, right? But what I'm saying is, yes, me and you, we agree with that. What I'm saying is, this is the next part. They are pushing the agenda because they know the demographic isn't on board. They know these Bull Dykes don't cross over. So what they're trying to do is uh, taint the mind of these people. That way they say, oh, okay, it's not that bad that they're fucking bull dykes. And now they might not have been able to cross over 10 years ago, but now they can. So what I was said and what I'm saying is that they are trying to pave the
Mm-hmm.
way for this to happen. You're saying that they're not doing that. They just kind of took the L. No, no, no. They're going to keep trying to pave that way. And one day, if it's up to Nike or the NBA, because honestly, that's best for them and their bottom
Mm-hmm.
line because the WNBA is not making any money,
Yeah.
right? So you can't say from a business standpoint that, oh, no, they're just going to take the L and say, oh, it's never going to happen. No, 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 they're going to keep on trying.
No, that's not to say it's never going to happen. What I am saying is that it's not happening, and based upon the business model that they have in place at this very moment, right? I do not know 30 years from now if there's going to be a windmilling Diana Taurasi that's running around. I don't know. I cannot predict the genetic advantageous nature of our species in 30 years. I do not know. At this moment, at this very moment, I just do not believe that they are running around looking, because these players are coming out, no pun intended. They're coming out and they are good, right? But I think the question is who is their biggest base? And I don't even think women are their biggest base.
Men,
And
men
so if
are.
men are, how are you going to possibly say that their league can be carried, let's say, by a bull dyke? What man is going to be like, ooh, yeah, that's ooh, because it's definitely not homosexual men that are watching the WNBA, from what I know. So I don't know how that's going to be like a thing where it's like, ooh, yeah, like I want to watch because this sexy bull dyke is playing. I mean, Deladon is looks good. I'm not gonna hold you. William Deladon looks good.
Well, she used to. I'm not sure about
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, but I feel like she crawled. I think she did that thing we've talked about where she wasn't, and then she got more masculinized, and then before you know it, she. playing on the other team. But yeah, I mean that these. That's why I don't want my daughter playing basketball. But yeah, I mean, essentially, this is like I think this is a good start to the conversation. I think that we're on the same page. I think as far as how we see it leveling out down the line, I think that's just where we might differ.
Okay.
Come on, get it paused.
So Lex, you got some thoughts on MPJ's comments. Floor is yours.
Oh, shit.
Well, let me start
Here we
by
go
saying
again.
I think his heart was in the right place. So I'm not here to shit on Michael Porter Jr. I do think he started on the right foot, and then he just
Shut your bitch ass!
put his foot in
Sorry,
his mouth. And
my finger slipped. I'm sorry,
my
my
issue
finger
with
slipped.
the pivot is they allow these guys to say things that they know is wrong, and they just are like, okay, keep going.
What are you talking about?
What the fuck?
What was wrong with what he? She's in her feelings.
The pivot. What?
They'll feed them
Yeah,
more
she's saying she has an issue with the pivot because they let guys come on talk about the WNBA, and they're wrong. They let them be wrong. Like they let them have an opinion on their show. Like, oh yeah, like that is a crime. Like,
Oh my
they
God.
have an opinion. Like I didn't know that you can.
Isn't that what she's bringing? An opinion right now?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I guess you're not allowed. Your opinions. You got to be in the WNBA to have an opinion on what they should do about the WNBA. I could have swore she's on this show all the time talking about the NBA and what they should do in the NBA. But I mean, hey, look, it doesn't. Fuck me, right? I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm off.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feminism. I mean, sorry.
Double down on.
Oh, come on. We had it paused for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, should have buffed over.
Stupid shit that they had just said.
Christ.
So
Oh,
I mean,
we got
there's
the
like a
message.
lot to unpack in his statements, identifying us as females instead of women the whole time.
What is this thing?
What?
That's not the first time I heard that.
What?
That is like becoming a thing. No, this is seriously becoming a thing. Like I've seen there are women that really take a issue with guys that are like, yeah, this female, as opposed to saying, this woman. Like what since when did now, the same thing that you can be used for the both attribute to both is not one is more demonstrative than the other?
Well, I'll say this. One definitely has more. One definitely carries more respect than the other, and typically used in those situations
based on the dictionary.
So, for instance, if a female is acting all ratchet and like a Tatiana, I'm not gonna be like, can someone get this woman? I'm gonna be like, can someone get this fucking this crazy ass bitch? But a woman, she's not a woman. It's like like a level of prestige. You have countenance. A respectable person. You're behaving yourself. Your conduct. Like a man, a gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, a lady, a woman, a lady, woman, and then
lady,
female. Gentleman, a man, nigga, male. Yeah, okay, I get that. But if you have an issue with it, change the way you're acting, or maybe the person that called you that doesn't understand the difference himself, and he's just using it interchangeably. But I don't think there's much to be said about that. Like that's just if someone comes walking down the street and says, "Hey, Q Fusion, I don't like your YouTube channel. I think that you're stupid." Okay, well, you're entitled to think that. And if I want to put a lot of water on what you said, and I'm like, oh man, well, if he thinks I'm stupid, then I should change his perspective on me. That way, he won't see me as being stupid. If you really care.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, unless you're going to do something to change that, then he's going to continue to think that you're fucking stupid.
Right.
So either do something about it to change the way that he perceives it, or don't do anything about it because you don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think I was thinking of it in another way too. It's like, with the whole that whole conversation around like what is a woman?
Oh
right?
God.
So I think that some people are like they're having that, they're kind of they want to make sure they're like specifically talking about like, XX chromosome, because I think that's like the definition or something like that in the dictionary for female. No, but I'm saying like that's what I think people think the definition is for these words. are like that. So they want to say they want to be scientifically on par, as opposed to saying women, where like people, now when people say what's a woman, they're like, bro, you got to see these panels. They're like, oh yeah, I think a woman is anybody that believes that they're a woman, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that's like the bro. When you see these panels, like, and they get asked that question, bro, I genuinely fear for the human race, man. Because and that's why I think when people say female instead of woman, I think they're like trying to like get ahead of that cancel button, right? So yeah, so that's the thing, like, and so she's looking at it like I think she's reading into it from that lens, and it's making her get triggered for no reason, like.
Well, I don't give a fuck about this chick or what
No,
triggers
no,
her.
but
That's ridiculous.
no, but I think we for our audience, I think it's important to point out, like, look at the little things that people get like tight about within the nuance of a conversation that was way bigger than that one word, but yet she
Yeah,
focused
female.
on that was the first thing she wanted to point to was, oh, instead first not him using female instead of woman, like, what, bitch, argue his points,
Yeah.
argue his points.
That we can't get treated the same, and then
Oh, let me take this off. Why was this
he then says treatment to payment, which are two completely different things. We can still be treated with respect, and
I
they
want to
can
kind of let
respect our
this run
craft
just because
without
there's going to be
them
so many
Yeah.
things that we
20 or
can.
$30 million a year. Like those things are not like those. Both of those things can happen. We cannot get paid $30 million, and we can be respected and treated
I'll take note.
well for being professional basketball players. Lowering the rims comment, you already know how I feel about that. It's stupid. It doesn't benefit me personally at all because I'm rim. I'm definitely not going to get a 9-foot rim. It's going to
Come on, work with us.
fuck up my shooting. It's going to fuck up everybody's shooting.
She said respect. I'm just taking note so that way when we
Me
get
too.
And I
Me
just feel
too.
like the way he plays basketball,
respect.
like he shoots a lot of threes. I just don't. You don't. He doesn't dunk.
Oh, that's a
He wants
lie.
us to dunk. You dunk. Like, what are we talking about? It's a tired
He doesn't dunk,
conversation,
but
and
that's a
I'm very
lie.
annoyed with men continuing to create these spaces to discuss these things when they don't watch our games. They don't know us. They don't ask us our opinions about anything ever. And like, if you don't have to watch us play, that's
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
fine. But like, for you to just sit there and just constantly shit
Shitting on it. Okay. All right. All right. Having an opinion, shitting on. Okay. Okay. Shitting
on our craft, our product,
on.
and
The crap.
everything without really being tuned in, like it's not right at this point. But again, you don't have to watch anything, but y'all always want to talk about us, so might as well watch us.
I mean, you're the
Shit.
sister league, but it's okay. It's all right.
Damn.
No, you're literally tied to the NBA and consolidated bank statements, but okay. So we can pause there. Yes, please. I think I started off last time, so by all
All
means.
right, so I want to start with the fact that she said, and what she said is somewhat true, but as it pertains to the conversation of the WNBA and quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
pay fairness and all that stuff, what she said is just
Mm-hmm.
incorrect. She said,
Mm-hmm.
it's mutually exclusive to be respected and then to be paid poorly, right? I could be
Mm-hmm.
respected and be paid poorly, and vice versa. Well, actually,
Mm-hmm.
no, because I know from listening to WNBA players, you guys, or should I say, y'all women, right? That's what you want to hear. Y'all
Yeah,
women,
females. Oh, sorry, my fault. No, you're right.
y'all,
No.
yeah, y'all think
Damn,
it's
son, where'd you
disrespectful
find
that
this?
LeBron James makes 30 something, no, right now about to be 60 something $1 million a year. That's
Mm-hmm.
disrespectful to y'all. It's a slap in the face to y'all, right? I was talking about DeMarcus Cousins and all this other stuff, and he's making this much money, and there's a laundry list of NBA players' names that they've decided to just start shitting on, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to money and how disrespectful it is. So no, clearly, if you have such animus about the pay quote unquote gap to the point where you're deciphering it as disrespect, then no, you cannot be underpaid and respected. That's just it cannot happen. It can't happen. Because if you're gonna keep acknowledging the fact, or not the fact, keep making point to this um egregious underpayment, then that cannot be respectful to you. It can't be. By definition, it cannot be respectful. So they cannot be treating you right. Therefore, if they're not paying you right, because that was the case, you wouldn't be complaining. You don't make any sense. You make zero sense.
Okay.
Yeah, man. You got
Sorry, we okay. Yeah. So the respect versus pay. Thank you. That was thank you for breaking that down so eloquently. I think that to me was like she started off with a bang on wrong, talking about how they come on these shows and they're wrong, and they let them talk on and on and on about being wrong. I think these guys have literally. He didn't even say anything about how like they're not respected. Like he said that they're just like the guys that are amazing at ping pong, just like the guys that are amazing at all these other sports that they just don't sell. Right at the end of the day, like they're amazing, but it's not moving the needle financially. So that doesn't to me show a lack of respect and show in that regard. So I don't see where, and I think a lot of these guys, I mean Draymond Green, the Steph Currys, the LeBrons, they show up to these games no matter what their reasons are. But they still go to the games when they don't have to. They have kids, they have families, they could be spending this time elsewhere, but they choose to spend it at your games some of the time, to support you
but
because they respect.
not because they want to watch the game.
No, because they do, but they do respect, right?
The
These
work that
players
they put
to
in.
correct, right? And I think so for her to make this point as if like NBA players are running around going like, "Fuck WNBA players, they don't deserve shit." No, it's just like they're just being realistic, right? And I
Yeah,
think
no one cares about WNBA.
to go down right the path, or she's saying, oh, there's an inconsistency about the dunking. First of all, she's ignorant, right? Because she's talking about they don't watch her game. Obviously, you don't watch his game, right? Because he's not just running around just shooting threes all day, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking specifically on the player, right? He's known, right, for being 6'10",
With guard
dunking,
skills.
right, and able to get to the rim, right,
Mm-hmm.
at 6'10", right, with a decent enough handle to be able to create space and also to get downhill, right. But no, you wouldn't, if you just might not. Maybe you don't watch the game. Okay, so
Yeah,
we'll leave
exactly.
that one alone, right. The next point is having an opinion, but they're shitting on us, right? Like that's their this is their MO to that what's Kevin Samuels used to call it, the shaming insults and need to be right. There was like a whole thing, right? So and you can't have an opinion on something. And I was actually thinking about the other day because I was having a conversation. It's like you can't, if I have an opinion on something that is based upon what the metrics say. Oh no, you just must have had a bad experience with said thing. Is that why you feel this way? Is that why you're saying these things? It's like what the so if I see that if I see that you're only getting 3,000 people to show up to your games a day, sorry, for every game, right? There's barely any girls in the stadium. There's only like little, between 15 to 18-year-old girls showing up to your games, and everybody else is watching NBA games. Is it not fair enough for me to assess that maybe your product
Yeah.
may not be up to par?
No, but they'll say we don't get the marketing that the men do.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out things, right? And if I just think that there should be a level of like, can I ask the question? No,
Of course not. No.
no.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's there. All right, so then that part's there. But yes, she comes on these podcasts and she has comments about how players should act amongst themselves and just types of games the way that they should be going about their strategy and things like that. But she can have an opinion on that. But that's not what I'm hearing. But okay. Yeah, so that I think these are the things that we're pointing out because it's nonsensical. I don't even think she understands that they're on her side, but a lot of the times that the reason why the WNBA is where it's at is because of the WNBA players. Sorry.
Well, to be quite honest, right? If we just want to take it there and like just cut through all the fat, they should be happy that niggas is even talking about it
Oh
in
shit.
any capacity. Because the more people talk about it, the more relevant this quote unquote conversation is, even though it's a nothing burger. Because no one, at the end of the day, this is business 101. Okay, that's why people like Soldier Boy could be a nobody and then a millionaire tomorrow, right? But that crank that Soldier Boy, right? That's why we have these one hit wonders and people that catch lightning in the bottle. Listen, the WNBA has been out for what, 30 going on 40 years,
Got it. Yeah, you
right?
gotta be. Yeah,
If you
30+.
haven't
Yeah.
caught lightning in a bottle yet, you're not going to catch it. Okay, so just stop. All right, just stop with this shit. With this, oh, we just need the backing. We just need this. We just need that. No, 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 no. Nobody cares about your fucking sport. There's more interest in women's college basketball than there is in the WNBA. And why do you ask? It's my opinion, my belief that it's because the college programs it's you're rooting for the college program as opposed to the individual for the most part. The WNBA, kind of like the NBA, is like you can root for an individual, and also because in the NBA, an individual can sway a lot. You know, LeBron James leaves the Lakers and goes somewhere else. He just shifted the power. Same with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and so on and so forth. In college, it's the systems. Even for men, it's the systems that typically win. You great all-time players that go through college that they didn't win a national championship. They didn't even play in a national championship game. Does that take away from their ability? No. So the women's college basketball is the same thing. It's the systems. People root for the systems. They like the coaches that's been there for a long time, and also the coaches keep these girls in line. They're not out there like bull dyking it up with tattoos all over the place. You know, walking in like they own the goddamn place and like they own something. No, they go into those arenas, into those practices like I got to work for my spot. You know. So there's a different culture, and with that different culture, there's a difference in attraction generated for the respective sports.
You know what? And I think I thank you for bringing that opinion to Park, because I think that's something they're going to touch on in this conversation. Not fully to the way you mentioned it, but I think they're speaking to they're going to speak to the individualism that exists within the NBA, which allows for people wanting to know, okay, what's LeBron James doing tomorrow? Okay, what's he going to post today? What's he going to post on this place? Right, like that aspect gets lost in that transition period between the college basketball for those players and then into the WNBA. Right, there's a reason why people are like on Caitlin Clark. Right, they're on Juju Watson. Right, they're on these players because there's aura around them, and yes, their programs are highly touted, right, but there's still a sense of like, okay, that individual, even though there's that program, she stands on top of the program and is creating a highlight by which there's a draw to like for me to want to go watch her, right, because I want to see that aura, I want to see that player shine with that program, right, but then
Yeah.
once they leave the program, they get lost in the shuffle because of the demonstrativeness that you see within the WNBA.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about that a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
because if you ask me right now, if Caitlin Clark was to stay in college another year, right, would I be more likely to watch her to watch her in college again, or would I be more likely to watch her in the WNBA? And the answer for me is, if she goes to the WNBA, that'd be the last I ever hear or see of her, probably, or speak of her.
Yeah, if they do what they are notorious for doing, yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's that.
But I think this is the reason why I like this conversation, because obviously that's like we all get that, but I think sometimes people need to hear about it from that basketball perspective, where it's like, because there is like inner workings, right? When you talk about, like you were mentioning, systems, right? There's systems that exist in the WNBA, but the thing is that when you got a person that is like a sniper, right? You got to let that person be a sniper. You can't tell Steph Curry oh no, Steph, I need you to be Chris Paul. I need you to be John Stockton.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to get the best out of Steph Curry if you're just putting him into a system to just fit in,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to saying, go ahead and be Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Do what's got you here. And
Yeah,
so I
like
think
Mark
that's what
Jackson,
happens.
Steve Kerr.
Correct. So I think that's the thing, right? A lot of these guys are just like guys. I'm calling them Jesus Christ. A lot of these women they have this talent, but then when they transition into the WNBA, because they need to fit into the mold of whatever system that coach is running, and I think they're going to speak on it. Like some of them are still running fucking Princeton offense, right? And if you know anything about basketball, that's like the 70s right there.
Oh my
That's like the
God.
70s, 80s. They're running offenses that they were running in Detroit. I think they were talking about this. So So I think this is a really cool conversation because they're going to start to. Hopefully, we can get into past their emotional rants, but where the NBA guys start talking.
To the three most
Ask NBA players right now, guys playing good basketball right now. Do you think they would say yes? Consensus. It's like a consensus of. You got. You think you guys
they
think?
say it publicly, so I can't hear their true opinions.
But they would
That
say
makes
yeah,
no
like
sense.
we're playing good basketball.
Yes.
So
makes no sense.
the real consensus and the real judgment doesn't come from the internal.
Right.
The players are always going to stay within the players' consensus. We playing pretty good basketball. We don't feel like we're playing basketball bad, but then you go to the fans and us, who we could say, hey, the basketball.
Here's another tip from the tool shop, how to run a drill.
Bro, when you ain't my ride, I don't know where we gonna go, where we gonna feel like I could not do this. If I felt like I don't know why I can do this. If I said less, you would make mess. You would call me a hot mess if you sounded less. I can't believe I said no. I can't pretend these. You were my baby from 3. If I really wanna do this around, I gotta give and leave, make if I did it all night. Be my sim, baby, every night. I'm trying to sim.